Hello there, my name is Dennis, and I'm making this video for those of you out there who may be taking prednisone and having difficulty keeping your weight the same, and for those of you who have problems gaining a lot of weight since you've started taking prednisone. As you may have heard, prednisone is a drug that's given for people with inflammation in their body or autoimmune diseases. Sometimes it's the only thing that can help them keep whatever autoimmune disease they have in check so that you can have a normal quality of life. In my case, I weighed about 155 or something like that before I started taking prednisone, and after I started taking it, I had gained about 40 or 50 pounds. A few months ago I went on a diet, even though I'm still on the prednisone, and I've lost about 25 pounds so far. Now, it hasn't been easy. The first 20 pounds or so, I basically just starved myself and cut down on my calories. But then, toward the end, I found out about Atkins and low-carb diets and how those can be helpful as well. The problem that I was having is that when you take the prednisone, it makes you incredibly hungry. It stimulates your appetite by a significant amount, and when you do eat, you tend to store more water and salt in your body, so you'll have more water weight, but it also puts weight around the face, like in the cheeks, around the stomach, sometimes behind the neck, and you get a lot of central body obesity, which is the worst kind, the most ugly kind, unfortunately. For me, the biggest problem I had with all of it is basically hunger. And what I've discovered is that if I eat more of a higher fat, moderate protein, but very low carbohydrate diet, I'm able to keep the hunger at bay. And I'm still able to eat enough that I'm not starving all the time, and my weight stays pretty much the same. Like I said, I've lost about 25 pounds so far, and I'm feeling a lot better because I have done that. And I'm not starving anymore, which is really, really nice. It's my understanding that when you're on prednisone and other glucocorticoids, that your body needs more protein and it tends to hold on to the water. So if you're eating higher protein than you did before, it's something that your body is basically needing anyway. It can be incredibly frustrating for people who are on prednisone because it seems like no matter what you do, you're going to gain weight. And that isn't necessarily the case. The problem with, of course, the prednisone is that when you do, even though when you lose weight, you're still going to have weight on your cheeks and in your face and around the stomach and stuff like that, because it changes the way the hormones of the prednisone change the way your body stores fat. So that's just one of the unfortunate consequences. But at least you can try and keep things a little bit more controlled than what they were. If you just were to eat like a high carb diet, your body would just go crazy and gain an absolute ton of weight. I noticed for me, when I was going and getting fast food and drinking pop or soda or whatever you want to call it, I gained weight tremendously fast. Same thing goes with pizza. The bread in it, for whatever reason, makes me gain an absolute ton of weight. And it also makes my stomach feel a lot more bloated and kind of sick feeling. Since I've cut these things out, my stomach feels a ton better. There's been some days where I've just been ravenously hungry, and I've tried to be careful about keeping my carbs low. I try and do about 20 grams of carbs a day, and that would include, when you read the back of a package, like making sure it doesn't have sugars in it as well. So in general, what do I eat? I'll have, like for breakfast, I'll have bacon and eggs, which basically have almost no carbs. With the bacon, you got to check to make sure that it doesn't have a lot of sugar in it, or any sugar if you can help it, because some bacons are cured in sugar. The same thing goes with ham and other processed meats. And then for lunch, I'll have, I can have steak-umm with you shouldn't have more than about 4 ounces of cheese in a day. stay away from the kind of cheeses that, I think cottage cheese is a no-no, but you can have, and real fresh cheeses you gotta watch. Like more of the, like cheddar cheese and provolone and American, I eat those kind of cheeses. About 4 ounces of cheese is okay. And then you gotta make sure that you get enough vegetables in your diet. But green leafy vegetables, even though they have carbs, they're relatively lower in carbs compared to other kinds of carbs. So I'll have about 2 cups of salad and then one other kind of vegetable, or up to 3 cups of salad a day. And then with the dressings, I gotta make sure that the carbs are low on those. Some dressings, like I like ranch, and that's usually pretty low carb. But again, you gotta watch because some of them can have sugars in them. I drink coffee. Some people notice when they drink coffee, it affects their blood sugars, and they get hungry from having coffee. I notice sometimes I do, so I have to be careful with it. A lot of times I'll drink it black, but if I have espresso, I'll put a little bit of heavy cream in it because that has low carbs, and then I'll put Splenda in it. But I won't use table sugar at all because that's just a no-no. It will definitely make you gain weight. Some of the foods that I don't eat that I really watch out for, and I've noticed that my cholesterol numbers and stuff have gotten a lot better since I've been following this diet, is I won't eat, again, sugar. I don't drink pop. I don't have dessert, like pancakes or cupcakes or pie or things like that. I don't have pasta, not even whole grain pasta. I don't eat bread. I don't eat whole grain bread. People say, well, whole grains are better because they don't digest as fast, so they don't raise your blood sugar and cause you to gain weight as easily. But I notice for me they do, and for a lot of people they do. My wife is type 1 diabetes, and she tests her blood with a blood glucose monitor. And even when she eats whole grains, it still makes her blood sugars get really high. So I'm not completely convinced that complex carbs and whole grains are necessarily okay for you if you're someone who's taking prednisone or you're somebody that is carb intolerant. I don't eat French fries anymore. I really try and stay away from some of the fast food places I used to go to. If you are going to get fast food, just eat the burger. You can have like a little bit of onion. Ketchup you gotta watch. They actually Heinz makes reduced sugar ketchup now that's sweetened with Splenda, and it actually tastes really, really good. So that isn't a bad compromise to try. You gotta watch out for sauces like barbecue sauce, things like that. Can have carbs in them, and which are basically turn to sugar in your body and can be a problem. But the biggest thing overall with all of this really is just keeping hunger at bay and trying to keep the weight down. One other benefit you'll notice is that if you keep your carbohydrate level low and your fat level a little bit higher to keep you more full, and your protein level about moderate, that you'll notice that the weight won't be coming on, and also that you won't be retaining as much water, which prednisone again will make you do. So that's really a positive thing. When your body holds on to the sodium more when you're having prednisone, so you may want to watch how much sodium you take in, especially if you have high blood pressure as a side effect from taking prednisone for a long enough time. I know for me, I have high blood pressure from having taken prednisone now for several years, and when I eat more sodium, I notice my hands feel more puffy, and I do retain more water. So that's something that you may want to take into consideration. I mean, maybe you're one of those people that it's not the case for you, and you just have to see on your own how it affects you. But overall, to me, the following like an Atkins kind of diet or low carb diet has been tremendously helpful as someone who is taking prednisone and doesn't have any prospects right now of getting off it. If I take 10 milligrams of prednisone a day, which is higher than what you should be for a long time, but it's not nearly as high as some people have to do. If I was on a much higher dose, I know that I would be even hungrier and have even more side effects. And if you're one of those people, I think the diet might help you a lot more than it has even helped me. So I wish you the best of luck with everything, and hang in there. Prednisone can feel like the worst drug in the world because of the side effects, but consider the alternative. If you're one of those people who has ulcerative colitis and you know the side effects from that, or someone who has sarcoidosis, or like me, someone who has arthritis, the prednisone helps me to still function like a normal human being. Without it, my body stiffens up, my joints hurt, and I can't move. I can't really do anything. I'm very, very non-functional without it. So I'm grateful for it, and I'm glad that I found a diet that helps me kind of deal with it as well.